When you think?
It's all cancel, right?
Yeah, well, I guess she doesn't need the money, but. Yeah. Right, right, yeah. Yeah, you think you just want to get rid of them and be done with it. It's an interesting letter. Right, Terry.
Oh,
Hello,
Terry, you're there?
City Attorney Terry Kurt calling in for the meeting, sir.
We got you. Can you hear us okay?
Okay, you bet.
Okay, I got a microphone right over your speaker, so everybody in the crowd will be able to hear you too.
Great.
Okay,
you.
we're just getting ready to take the roll call.
I have 5:58 on my phone.
2 minutes.
Randy's too.
Randy,
2 minutes.
don't
Terry.
start early. Don't start early, Randy.
Did I mention it's good to have you with us, Terry?
It's always good to be welcomed. Yep.
How's the weather in Australia?
Well, I just got done playing golf at a Loris golf outing. So the weather was nice. Jake, hey, Jake, I was wondering if you could loan me some money while we got a minute here.
I figured that was coming. Yeah, how
See,
much?
I have a boat fund just like you.
How much you need?
Oh, I figured we go halves.
You take personal check?
No, cash is good.
It ain't any good to let them know he'll give you another one.
All right, sounds good, Jake. Got a deal.
Send me your Venmo.
Sounds all right.
You're blocked, Mr. Mayor.
I am.
City attorney said we got to be precise, so.
5:59, Randy.
Yeah, it should be right up on.
Perfect.
6 o'clock, East Dubuque City Council meeting, August the 8th. Would you please turn off your cell phones and be quiet for any discussions? And let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call, Pam.
Belkin,
Here.
Bergmeyer,
Here.
Mayor Dagenhart,
Here.
Fleur,
Here.
Hoffman,
Here.
Walsh,
Here.
Attorney Kurt.
I'm here.
Item number 222-0802, staff reports.
Okay, we'll go over my stuff pretty quickly here, I think. I wanted to share with you that I had worked with Mike Meyer at the other side. All you need to do was block off some parking spots on August 26th for a benefit fundraiser. Since it was just parking spots, I gave him the blessing so he could go ahead with it. I've never seen the council turn down these types of requests in the past. If we got into where we're blocking the street, I would probably get to the point where I'd bring it to you guys first. But since it's just parking spots, I told him it was okay. Hopefully that meets with everybody's approval. Does anybody have any questions on that? Okay. Railroad lease property. I had received some contacts about the property that we lease down by the tracks. So I sent a letter out. There was an accumulation of everything. I saw junk leaning against buildings, leaning against the fence, generally stuff laying all over the place. I had a tough time determining what belonged to who. So I just sent a letter to everybody in that area. And I gave you the list of everybody I sent a letter to. I asked them to have it cleaned up by Sunday, August 14th. On Monday, August 15th, if there's any junk or clutter remaining, we'll just remove it. And then in the future, we had issue citations. I was getting complaints from neighbors down there about stuff from the neighbor next door throwing on their property. And when I tried to go back and forth that day talking about whose is this, the guy I'd go to would say, it's not mine. I didn't put it there. And I'd go over to the next guy. It's like, I didn't put it there. And it's like, okay, I'm not going to do this every day, all day. So I just sent a letter to everybody. Didn't accuse anybody of anything, just saying, hey, if you got junk stored out there, please get it cleaned up. Our lease with the railroad specifies that it's just supposed to be parking. We lease it from the railroad at their convenience. We do pay them a fee. They could boot us out any day if they wanted to. So we got to maintain it. We got to keep it clean. And I don't know if anybody had a chance to drive down there, but there's just stuff accumulating. So, and I haven't heard anything back. We gave them almost, well, what was the date of the letter? Letter went out July 26th. So we gave them almost 3 weeks to clean it up. So, haven't heard anything. The next item is Indian Hills meeting. We continue to work on that project. I sent a letter out to all the residents affected. There's 84 residents that are affected by the project, inviting them to an informational meeting on Tuesday, August 16th at 6 p.m. Just because of the large number of invitations, there's no way we could host that meeting here. So we're doing it up at the school. TJ Potts was kind enough to let us use his facility. We're going to have representatives of IIW there and hopefully other information available to just basically do a presentation and answer any questions. And we'll do our best to inform everybody of what our thoughts are about the project. So obviously it's not a city council meeting, but obviously the council's more than welcome to be there with us if they want to be. So, okay. We're going to do a City of East Dubuque project update. Mark Ruden's here, but first I want to touch on speakers from the floor. It was pointed out to me, and it's later in your agenda also. But at a recent meeting, we really strayed away from our speakers from the floor policy, which is 3 minutes, and worked with Terry. And Terry, you can give any comment you want to too. The speakers from the floor portion of the agenda is for people to have 3 minutes to speak. It's not supposed to be a debate. It's not supposed to be back and forth. If there's something that the person mentions in the 3 minutes that the council says, Loris, put that on the next agenda. We should discuss that. Couple reasons for that is if you start discussing things that aren't on the agenda, you violated the open meetings law, because now maybe you're making decisions on things that you didn't have on the agenda. So some cities, and I think Alyssa put some samples in your packet, some cities limit it to, you can only be a speaker from the floor to talk about things that are on the agenda, so you don't violate that rule. If you were to get into a back and forth discussion and you decide to do something that was not on the agenda, other citizens could say, hey, you didn't give notice that you guys were going to discuss that. So you need to limit it to your agenda items. And the 3 minutes is meant for the public to have a right to come to the council and talk for 3 minutes about anything they'd like to talk about. It's not supposed to be a debate back and forth, and it's not supposed to last 25 minutes. So later in the agenda, we have some discussion about the samples that we put together, and then just going to ask for direction, but I thought I'd mention that. The next thing would be, Mark Ruden, would you be able to come up and talk about a project update that was in the packet? Mark put together everything that Origin is working on for us. It was a 2-page presentation. Hopefully everybody had a chance to look at it. It's rather a lengthy list in case you look at it. I told Mark he didn't have to go through word by word on it, but we'd sort of open it up if people had looked at it to say, I've got a question on this project or this project. So
Yeah, we like to provide these periodic updates here to just let you know what it is we're working on, what the status is of the various projects. We've got a wide breadth of services we provide at Origin Design, whether it's water resources, municipal, civil, structural, architectural, construction services, or survey. I don't think there's a section of our firm that doesn't work with the city. And I'd say every one of our 75 employees work with the city of East Dubuque at some time over the course of a year. The Does anybody have any questions? For the information and what's provided on the project update? I'd be happy to talk with you.
Any questions about any of the?
On that, is it, was the Oxford Street, or the water main?
Yes,
What comes down the hill? It's Clinton and,
Mark, you out there, what's the,
yeah, right, yeah, one-way street. Do we have to do a full design on that to get a grant going? I mean,
get a grant, they want a full design.
I find that hard to believe, Loris.
Illinois EPA,
That's a lot of money. You know, you're rolling the dice. I mean.
that's what they expect because they will not, they want an engineer's estimate. They want full,
Get without a full design.
everything we've sent in so far, Jill Peppin does all our financing. We really have full design. to Send it in.
I mean, if we don't get that, we're out a lot of money.
We've spent a lot of money on engineering. So far, we've been successful on getting funding.
Yeah, that's, I mean, most of the time, it's, I work through a lot of estimates, budgets.
Have you worked with Illinois EPA on those types of
No,
projects,
no, I
Mike?
haven't, but I've worked with a lot of,
We could have Jill come to a meeting and talk about how she does those. That's what we've been giving her to get the grant.
I'm guessing that's gonna be $100,000.
Which one? You're talking about the Oxford Street reconstruction?
Yeah, the Clinton, Oxford.
Yeah. Yeah, the engineering fees for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so preliminary design, final design, and it'll be item number 12 on the agenda where we go over that.
Actually, in the estimate's actually in your packet.
Yeah.
But it's $80,000.
And that's a lot of money we could be out if we don't get this grant.
That's correct.
I know other times they've done preliminary designs and submitted those. Not the Illinois EPA, but other. grant.
Sure, that's what she's been asking us to furnish
Okay.
up to this
That's
point.
fine.
So
That's what I can't.
she's had a good track record getting the money for us too.
Okay.
But it's a good question. I will ask more detail on that for her.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Remembrance Park, is that the?
The ground next to the library.
Are we funding that now?
We are funding a part of it with cannabis revenues. And we needed to get the grants. We needed to have a design again that we could send in a preconceptual plan.
Because we voted on something, but we didn't vote on funding it.
We voted on participating with 50,000.
I mean, we have a motion right here. I brought it. We have a motion to approve the community park project.
Right.
All we voted.
Yeah, I think the minutes will show that we committed to 50,000.
I know, but we need to clarify it. No.
Right.
Because I think we're getting spend happy.
Okay.
And I'm all for the park, don't get me wrong,
Okay,
but I think we need to counter an extra design.
I agree.
That was a surprise to me that I thought Johnson was, Marty Johnson.
We did that first one.
You guys are doing the infrastructure.
Or the Remembrance Park Veterans Memorial there? Yeah.
And the Conceptual plan and the topography to see what will work for as far as drainage.
All right.
Got a pretty good slope in the backside if you look at that. We got to do ADA sidewalks. We got to get the grade. Get the grants. And so the grade, you've worked with that, Mike, as far as only be a certain percentage.
Now, is something to be done with the property, the house, the duplex? What's up with that? Can
The
you update us on that?
the agreement that'll be presented to you in the near future. Terry, are you working on that with his attorney at this point?
Yes, I am, Loris. We're working on it. Should have it in the next couple of weeks.
So probably maybe your next packet, there'll be a very detailed agreement of who does what and who's
Okay,
obligated to what.
Yes.
all right.
There'll be bonds
Yes.
required and deeds. But preliminary, he's gonna fix up the duplex at his expense.
Okay.
That's what the agreement will say when it's done.
Any other questions? All right, well, thank you.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Mark, very much. And that's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Next item is the mayor's report. I don't have nothing at this time, but up in Beecher Street, it's really looking good up there. And they stopped out by the 19th hole with the water tower. They're doing it in sections, I guess, and they're waiting on steel. And we might not be able to get the steel to October, November. So we're trying to get stuff done.
Just to touch on that, Randy, in Mark's report, it talked to that, they plan to start erecting the water tower in November.
Yeah.
So
And we will move on to the Alderman's report. Belkin?
I just got one question. Did we ever hear from J&R Supply yet on that 72-inch pipe up there on St. Mary's?
that come in, Mark, do you know?
We're getting ready to start school a week from Friday. That's a bus route, so we can get it in and both of them in.
Yeah.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Last time I talked to, anybody with J&R, it's looking to be, late July, mid-August.
Okay, thanks. That's all I got.
Do you have any idea how long that'll take, Mark, once they start that? Is it a 4 or 5 day project or is it a,
It's probably gonna be a little bit.
okay,
That it?
Yes, sir.
Tim, what have you got?
I just got a question. Did they look into the rock for down at Midtown instead of the guardrail?
I do not know that.
Or we?
We didn't.
No, but I mean, is that going to be an option for down there? Jeff brought it up at the last meeting.
Yeah, we did not, at this point. So I think the consensus that we have is we don't think there's a safety hazard there.
Okay.
So we have not researched the rock at this point.
Is that all you have, Tim? Yep. Jake,
I have nothing at this time, Mayor.
Jeff?
Nothing.
Okay, we'll move on.
You didn't get Mike. You didn't get Mike.
Sorry.
I've been working with Mark on some of the street stuff. And I meant to give this to you before the meeting. It's seal coats, so we don't have that problem with the dust. You know, what a fog seal is. And I'll give that to you after the meeting. Then
Mike, do you know anybody in the area that does that?
fog seal,
Yeah.
we do it, but we can't come over here.
Didn't you talk to Louis and they don't do it?
They'll do it. It's just diluted it's just diluted seal coat
Okay.
oil.
Because we went to them to see if they could do it for us and they,
They just won't do it because they have to put water in their tack truck and that. is a- You can do it with emulsions, but can't do it with straight asphalt because it'll boil over and.
would you be able to steer us to somebody that might do it for us?
Yeah, I told Mark, I said, there's people in Illinois.
'Cause I think that's a great solution. I think we should do it.
Yeah, and then I saw you guys did a bunch of street signs. While I was gone. And there's a handbook out where you should put stop signs and street signs and one-way signs and guardrails. And I think we need to be looking at this so that the police can, if someone runs a sign, they can enforce, they're properly installed,
Mhm.
right spot. And when there's a reason, warrant for, so I'll give that to, I don't know who wants that, Mark?
Mark? Thank you.
And then we'll talk about the street stuff, the street project. Okay,
That's later in the agenda.
That it, Mike?
yes, thank you, Laura.
Next item is City Attorney Terry Kerr. Do you have anything tonight, Terry?
No, nothing, Mayor.
Okay. We'll move on then to Police Chief Luke. Have you got something for us tonight, Luke?
I think first we'll tackle Jeremiah. He received an award or recognition for the amount of DUIs that he arrested last year with narcotics and alcohol. So he was recognized by an organization, I think that was in your packet. He was the top guy to right now arrest people for DUI in town. So I'd like to give him some recognition for that. With this last rainstorm that we had, we lost about another 6 to 8 ceiling tiles in our police department. it is now starting to leak into Cody's office, which is right next to the evidence room. So pretty soon we're gonna have to start making a move somewhere. Just start moving important information and evidence to a more secured location so we can preserve what we have.
For lack of a better location, Luke and I talked today. I was over at the police station, take a look at it. I mean, ceiling tiles are collapsing right down. It's very bad. So for lack of a better option, we've looked around everywhere in town we could look. We can't find a spot. We're gonna start moving them into the conference room here, probably take this big table down and just get them out of harm's way. Because I mean, literally water collapsing on tiles, collapsing on the desk. Talk about putting up big plastic sheets to direct the water to a certain direction, or it's rotted. It's just, I don't know what to do with it. It's just so bad and there's nothing in fix. So Luke and I just had the conversation today with the measurements and what desk we could move over here, and we'll make a home for them for lack of a better option. So if somebody hears of anything that's available, we've talked to everybody that we can find to see if we could find a spot for them. There's just nothing available.
What about them construction trailers that
We looked at that before and they're extremely expensive.
Somewhere around like the $500,000 mark. to-
Yeah, we talked to IAW,
Put it up.
who's, they've rented them for different facilities, and anything. You'd like to think those would be $1,000 a month, and they aren't. It's amazing how much they are. So they're prohibitive. Mike Rudin had experience with that because there was a school that was doing remodeling and they wanted to get them for temporary classrooms, and it was just the hundreds of thousands of dollars to get those damn things. It's just like, oh my God, I can't see doing that. So I'd rather have us be more inconvenient and squeeze for space here. This doesn't cost us anything. It cuts down a little bit on the privacy. But I'd rather use our existing building and make that work. So we looked at renting places, either they're not available or they're prohibitive. Had one person that thought police department would be a bad renter. I was like, wow. So, thought they'd be a good renter. So for lack of a better thing, we'll get them moved over this way and we'll make it functional.
what else you got?
Just a couple other things. On the June 20th meeting, Donnie Slats had a few questions and a few errors in his statements regarding stats. So I went back and pulled some numbers for you guys on starting May 1st of this year till June 21st, the day after the meeting. We had 88 arrests and only 6 people were brought to Galena. Donnie said that we bring everybody to Galena, which is not true. So I just want you guys to be informed that it's only 6 people were transported to Galena. And then let's see. Seems to be a hot topic with the SRO money from Donnie Slats. So I went back to the donor, revisited it, and they offered that once this money runs out to come talk to them and they'll write another check. So that pretty much takes care of how we're going to fund the SRO program. Even if we do get some grants, the federal government would be able to put out some money for us. We'll still get a donation from the individual to help us forward the program. He also stated that why we can't leave people in the squad cars instead of having holding cells. So this is from the Department of Justice. I could only find a few years worth of statistics, but on average, leaving people in the back of a squad, there was 309 reported escapes. Of these escapes, 86% were from a caged vehicle, and 84 of the incidences of the prisoners escaped from the back seat of the vehicle were caged vehicles. 12% of the prisoners were injured, 3% were killed, and 12% of the officers were injured. Less than 1% of the officers were killed. So that's one reason why, or multiple reasons why we cannot leave people in the back seat of the squad car for an extended period of time. Also, I won't bore you, but just a quick Google search, there was 2 or 3 lawsuits for leaving somebody in the back of a squad car too long, being unsupervised. They needed medical attention. They did not receive medical attention because eyes were not kept on such individual. Families are suing. So I would hate for us to have to deal with a lawsuit because we left somebody in the back of a squad car too long. Getting back onto the SRO program. This is some stats from the 911 Guard. They deal with the national rate of school resource officers and school shootings. As a quote from the Federal Commission of School Safety Report, homicide is the 3rd leading cause of death of young people between the ages of 10 and 24 nationwide. 15.7% of students carried a weapon, i.e. gun, knife, or club at least one day in school in the past month. So, and that was a statistic that came out in 2021. One of the things the public doesn't realize, they don't see how many SROs have stopped active shooters before a round is even fired. Through building relationships with students, SROs gain valuable intelligence and are able to investigate and stop these things before they ever become an issue. And that is from Mo Kennedy, who is the executive director of the National Association of School Resource Officers. I think Donnie made a statement saying that having an SRO will not stop someone from bringing a gun in. With that, he is somewhat right. Get back to here. It doesn't, having an SRO does not stop someone coming in from with a weapon. There is some other statistics here. This is from the Department of Justice. This also the Secret Service. The commission concluded that support the research conducted by the U.S. Secret Service that examined 41 attacks carried out K-12 schools in the United States from 2008 to 2017. In 66% of the cases, the security officer or SRO was assigned to the school on a full-time, part-time basis. During 49% of the attacks, the SRO was on duty at the school. In almost 30% of the cases, the SRO made it to the scene of the attack within 1 minute. There was only one other incident that they could find that an officer was just happened to be at the school to where he was responding. Well, that's another incident where the school resource officer would be good and also stop attacks. This case is from also the Department of Justice. You can go on 911 cops.org and it brings you to a link on case studies. The NPF defines an averted school violence incident in shooting, bombing, stabbing, or other violent attack that was prevented either before or after potential perpetrator arrived on school grounds before any injury or loss of life occurred. At an educational institution, this definition does not include averted acts of violence on school grounds that were unrelated to school, i.e. gang-related violence. The database that they are starting to pull from in the United States happened after Columbine, which was in 1999. Since Columbine, in 2022, there were 236 cases in this database that were reported, including both averted. 168 were averted out of the 236 and completed 68 attacks. Of the total cases, 185 occurred at K through 12. 34 of those cases involved SROs. In a number of those cases, the SRO was the intended target. So we take the rounds, we stop the people. Okay. So it says here, the following 12 cases out of the 236 cases describe planned targeted violence K through 12 schools were averted through actions of potential attackers through peers, SRO, school administration, and other school safety stakeholders. And a stakeholder would be what they consider like a counselor. So I guess the big push down he has is that we're not going to stop school violence. Well, I have cases and case studies that proves that wrong, except for maybe the oddball time. Let's see, what else do I got? Yeah. I think we beat that dead horse to death with the SRO program. I think that's about all I had, unless you guys had any questions on any of the stats, statistics, anything that else that I can give you that is the correct information and actual factual statements to be made.
Anybody got any questions for?
I do not.
Move on, then. Thank you, Lou.
Yep, no problem.
Move on now to Mark Brewer. You have a bunch of stuff here for us, right, Mark?
Okay, current projects, you're pretty much aware of everything that's going on. Some of the newer projects, we're getting some curb done. We got Steve Weber in town today. They were working over here by the church, St. Mary's. Last week, they did get the curb poured up there on Peach, and we do have some more curbing to look at. As far as, the fog seal, we've kind of covered. The Vector truck, we've been using it, Tom and Tony, they've been out with it. Think they've said they're closing in on over 1,000 feet of sewer that they've had cleaned. They're coming up with, one of the worst places was right there by the round school so far. They're jetting it and they're gonna start using the cameras on some of these sewers. This week, I'd like to see them start doing some of the intakes down here on Main Street, start cleaning them, sucking them out and getting them debris out of there. And then get into a couple more sewers. The truck did end up having a leak in it in one of the emission controls. So we took it over to Freightliner. That was all warranty work. So they had to put a whole new tank on the part for the emission controls. As far as some of the roads in your packet, we got 2 bids. So talking with Mike this week, we met and kind of looked at them. So the we had Origin Design help us getting so people that are bidding it are bidding apples to apples. So then we sent these out and we just got them back last week from you got Civil on one and then Tri-State Paving on the other.
Mark, on Civil, the sheet that I had looked at in the packet, they showed a total for all the projects.
Yes.
Did they give you a breakdown per street?
No, they didn't. I wish they would have.
Harder to compare apples to apples that way. or not?
Yeah, well, pretty much Tri-State did the same thing.
Like, it seemed like Tri-State had some individual projects.
Right. Tri-State had some individual projects. One was the Sherwood project. That's going from the at the top of the hill left all the way down to the dead end. With the construction that took place up there with Beecher, that street took a pounding with all the big trucks. So that one there, I believe, is gonna be a must.
That's not on these 2.
No, that is not on them
These
too.
are the streets that Origin. prepared for us.
Yeah,
Those are
Right.
apples to apples.
they're like
Okay.
Montgomery,
5th and 6th or.
4th and 5th. Yep, and Camillus. So. And Riverview Terrace, we got that on there.
Was Tri-State's the 449?
Yes.
Okay. Got it.
So I guess we can pick out the streets and, see which route you want to go. And then we could have maybe them break it down into sections of streets to see where we're at and what you want to do.
So the Sherwood and the Timberline are above and beyond
Yes.
these totals.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was asked to get a price for Timberline Court.
I asked Mark to get that one for me.
Yeah, we've had a couple complaints with the seal coat rock that when it rains, it washes into some of the yards up there. I had a gentleman come in the office here a couple weeks ago, real nice, just asked if we could do something. So he's been
It's got a
raking it
little more
out.
slope than some of the ones in the down the flats.
Yeah.
And we had some of the same issues, I think, at the flats with the rock washing.
Yeah.
And-
So, with the Timberline court, with that bid, there's also gonna be a curb down along the row of them houses that are sitting there. So that's gonna, solve that problem. So.
So how do you want to proceed on those? Mark? You guys, you and Mike want to get together and say, here's the streets we'll do. I looked at the budget again. You got $408,000 to play with. That's the budgeted amount.
Okay, and with that, you gotta remember about all this curb work that's getting done, so that's gonna
Right.
take a bite out of that 400 and some thousand. So
You need to get.
I don't think we're
As
gonna,
far as how you want to prioritize them or how do you want to
yeah,
work your way through it?
I don't know if
Terry, are you on yet?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, we got 2 bids for street work. We just write that out, it's unit prices and then just lower the units? Is that how we
I
proceed?
think that's how you'd have to do it to say. If 449 was that the lowest one? And if you
We work
have to
that-
subtract whatever you're gonna subtract for these others. You'd have an amount and say, okay, this is what we can afford to do, and then you're gonna steer to what, one street first and next.
Yeah. Yep. And just see
So
where we're,
so we would write a contract for 449.
I agree.
Yep. I mean, it'd be nice if we had enough to do. If we had 449 plus these, we had that kind of money just to do them all.
yeah,
Cause I don't think there was one in there that was a bad project.
yeah.
Did it include a quote for Camillus?
No, talking with Mark Rudin, that's kind of a whole new plan. I think you're talking, and Mark, he's here yet, and we're talking putting an intake and running the stormwater down into that ditch behind some of them houses.
I think we've all come to consensus, just redoing the streets not gonna take care of the ponding water, right?
No,
So it's more of a storm sewer project.
yeah.
Cause we can patch that street till the days are gone
And
and
there's only,
That water-
there's only a couple, mud puddles on it. I mean, the street itself is not really in that bad a shape.
it's the water pond in that we're gonna have to solve that with storm sewer somehow.
Yeah.
Okay,
So.
well, how would you, Mike, Mark, what do you guys, how do you want to proceed? Just,
Well, I could call these two companies that bid to work and just say, what's it gonna take to do, the Riverview Terrace? Or what's it gonna take to do, 4th and 5th or Montgomery, and maybe break it out that way.
yeah, we can even ask them to break down their bids, but it appears by not close that the unit prices are much better from Tri-State, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they have units on every sheet.
yep,
Mark, are you familiar with the plans? Yeah, so I mean, you could figure out each
yeah,
street.
now we can get together.
That's easy. I just think since you took bids, you need to write a contract for that amount.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And go with the low bidder. I agree. I agree. So do you guys want to do that homework and,
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
okay. Are you saying then, the other two that were outside a bid, what's your preference on those? Or Sherwood, we sort of said we need to do.
Sherwood's pretty much a must. It has to, yeah. So,
And then Timberline, we need to do something up there.
yeah. Yeah,
We tried the cheaper approach the last time because
yeah, we
How
did
big that
seal
work?
coat, we did seal coat it last year at this time. We seal coated Timberline.
generally we weren't happy with the seal coat anywhere we did it.
Yeah,
Didn't work out like we thought it would.
no,
So you almost have to go back and rethink that for the future, but why don't you, if you guys can work through the numbers and say, here's what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And you'd have a better idea of, 408, your budget number, you'd have a better idea what else we've committed to, like the curb and stuff you talked about.
Mhm.
You'll be able to come up with a net dollar of, okay, I've got this much left.
Now, my question is, that storm sewer over there behind St. Mary's on Cherry Street, does that come out of that 400,000?
Supposed to.
So that's gonna put a real big dent in the pot.
We didn't know about that when we did the budget. That
Yeah.
Popped up.
So
I can do some looking for some emergency funds and see what I can come up with. Give you a little more room.
Wasn't that pipe supposed to be $30,000?
just the pipe alone, 34,000.
That's no labor or nothing.
No, that's not even putting it in the ground yet.
You're getting the old one out.
Yeah. So
You normally just double it for installation. Is that fair? Assume it's gonna be at
pretty
least
close.
that much again.
Plus your street.
Yeah. Yeah, plus, your blacktop and
Your
a
river
good
gravel.
portion of that.
So
So.
you're easily talking an $80,000 project.
Easy. Yeah.
80 to 100.
Mhm. So.
I'll see what I can figure out for emergency funding and see what. we
You
got
have,
there.
I mean, has somebody bid on that already?
Russ Stewart, he,
Raised it?
yeah, he gave us a ballpark. Since then, we had plans drawn up for it. So, that might have to go out being that it scaled to such a big project. Back when Russ gave us a ballpark figure, I mean, we're just talking, the same size culvert and, and possibly patching the one that's in there, but that's,
So that'll have to be a different contract.
so.
Well, let's do some legwork. We got 2 weeks to nail it down and tell them what we want to do,
Yeah.
basically. That sound fair?
I'll get with Mike and
You get with Mike and I'll look at the finances and see what we can.
just give me a call, Mike, when you get time.
Is that it then, Mark?
Yep. Any questions?
No questions?
Like most things, we got a lot we want to do and we only got so much money, so.
Thanks,
Next item is Fire Chief Joe Heim. Have you got anything tonight, Joe? Okay, we'll move on to item number 22-080, speakers from the floor. Do we have any speakers from the floor tonight? A lot later news than that. I'm not asking for money or anything.
Oh, God, good.
Wing Fest this weekend. It's always good to see you guys there. Nick Tranos with us, Edge and Lions Club team together for this. So the fireworks are paid for by Lions Club. Nick has brought some tickets along. We're hoping that maybe you guys would buy some to help the,
Sure.
Sure. Unless you got a weapon with you. How much are they?
$20 a piece.
$20 a piece?
Yep.
And we're getting 10? I don't have that much cash on me. I was looking at my wallet. It's like, no, I don't carry that kind of money.
You take Venmo.
You take debit card?
Venmo, whatever you guys want.
It's my debit card if you want to go with that.
So the fireworks are about $12,000 to pay for. So this is the money that the Lions Club raises to pay for the fireworks.
Nick, you didn't give me 10 tickets. Okay. 10 will be good. Yeah, 10 will be good. You gotta come tomorrow?
I can run them right back down if you want to.
Well, unless you're ready to take a debit card, I can't buy them tonight, but
Just bring the money here. Give it to
I
Laura.
can bring them, you can bring them down to the other side if you want. That'd be great. It's,
You guys, that's great. That's great you're doing this.
so also the Lions Club, I'm not sure if everybody knows the Lions Club, we also fund scholarships at the school every year. And we're responsible for the food bank. So we do a lot in the community. And we don't always get the press or whatever about it, but Since I've been involved in Lions Club, we about $125,000 in scholarships that we've been a part of. Nick's been president for a very long time now. He does a great job. And the Edge Group, we give back $10,000 a year back into the community. So events like Wingfest fund these kind of things. So we'd love to see all you guys. Delbert helps out all the time, but it'd be cool to see all you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike and Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thanks, Nick.
Next item's number 422-0804, consent agenda. We need a motion.
So moved.
We have a
Second.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Do I vote if I wasn't here last week?
Yes, you can.
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Next item is new business, and I'm gonna have Loris take the first one.
Okay. Discussion and possible action to approve a resolution authorizing the city manager and the city treasurer to make the appropriate interfund transfers and record the same in the appropriate manner for fiscal year 2022, which ended on April 30th of 2022 in the city of East Dubuque. This is a yearly resolution that we do. It's a result of the auditors coming in. They go through every transaction the city has made for the entire year. And they'll make recommendations to Joan on different, how she applied things. They'd say, well, maybe you should take it out of this fund. And so there's adjustments every year. And so these are the adjustments the auditors have asked us to make to the last fiscal year's budget. Doesn't mean anything was wrong. They just prefer certain things come out of certain funds. And so Joan prepared this based on working with the auditors who have been here twice. They need this transfers to be done so they can complete the audit. I don't know if there's any questions.
We need a motion.
I'll make.
I'll second.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 622-0806, discussion and possible action to approve amend liquor license pending completion of application for Second Street slot in the city of East Dubuque.
Second Street Slots has had a tentative sale to a new individual. The first step, they come to us to see if we will authorize the transfer of the corporation, which we've done always in the past. We allow that to happen and then they complete their application with the state. And you'll see that a lot of the information was already in your packet. There's some things they have to have us approve before they can get their dram shop insurance and things. It meets all of our qualifications thus far, but you'll see the application, the motion is to pending a completed application. So this is a first step. There's some additional things they need to bring in for us. We have no concerns at this point with the applicant. We haven't found anything that would make us refuse the transfer. We're asking for your approval for them to proceed.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Nope, go ahead.
I'll second it.
Fleur,
Aye.
Hoffman, Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 722-0807, discussion and possible action on bid submit for the wastewater collections service improvement 2022 in the city of East Dubuque.
There was a letter in your packet. We've had the bid opening. Origin, who handles the bid openings for us and the design and the estimates, prepared a letter for you. It's a little different than you normally would have. I'll read it to you real quick. Dear Mayor Dagenhart and council members, in accordance with owner instructions, bids for the wastewater collection system improvements 2022 project were opened and read at 10 a.m. on July 20th, 2022. 2 bids were submitted for the project. However, one bidder did not submit a complete bid, so that bid was not publicly read. Fisher Excavating Incorporated from Freeport, Illinois was the only bid publicly read with a total of $3,194,407. Engineer's estimate for the project was $2,450,000. The bid received in the amount of $3,194,407 is $744,407 or 30% above the engineer's estimate. Normally, what we would get from the engineer is a recommendation to proceed, either to award the bid. In this particular case, we're not asking for that. Our recommendation is going to be to refuse all bids since there was only one. But we have to wait for Illinois EPA guidance on how they want us to proceed because they're funding this project. I think the way we're going to end up doing is everything I'm hearing so far is they want us to rebid. A competitive bid process is not one bid. So they want to, and we've been told that the one bidder that submitted that we couldn't read was lacking one form. And Mike can probably tell you when you do these bids, there's so many forms. Sometimes it's easy to make a mistake. So we would change the project and then rebid it. And we've also since then been told of another bidder that forgot about the bid opening. So we think we could generate 3 bids, which would then be a competitive bid process. It's not fair to our citizens or anyone involved to spend this kind of money on just one bid. So our recommendation is going to be to you to refuse all bids. So all bids being one. So I don't know if anybody has any questions about it. If not, we'd.
I'll make a motion to refuse them.
I'll second it.
Hoffman.
Aye.
Walsh.
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye.
Randy, the next one is on the street project. So I don't know if should we just do a motion to table that? What do you guys feel comfortable with?
I think we should be. Do we find out what?
We discussed we're going to get more detail for the next meeting. Does that sound good to you, Mark and Mike?
If they'll hold the bids,
Yeah, just table it until,
I mean, they might. Yeah, that's fine. It's 2 weeks.
okay. Or do you think we should proceed with accepting the apparent low bidder?
It's less, anything over 30 days you risk. So it's under 30 days.
Think we're good?
Table.
Okay. So could we get a motion to table that one?
I'll motion that. Second.
Walsh.
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Next item, number 922-08 and 09, discussing and possible action to approve loan request 5 for IEPA PWSLP 17-4205 in the amount of $359,527.99, including origin design invoice 77,575, WHKS invoice 46969, and 46123 Fisher Excavating paid application 3 for Colwell Tank Incorporated, paid application 3, and Louis Trenching pay application 4 in the city of East Dubuque.
As we've talked about, every time these come up, these are thoroughly reviewed by Illinois EPA, by Jill Peppin, who handles loan administration for us. They're recommending we make this approval.
So move.
We have a second.
Second.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 10, 22-0810. Discussing a possible action to approve loan request 4 for IEPA WPCLP 17-5810 in the amount of $45,776.90, including Fisher Excavating paid application 3, CFPS invoice 2, and WHKS invoice in the city of East Dubuque.
This is just like the previous one that's been thoroughly reviewed by the state and by Jill Peppin. We'd recommend your approval.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 11, 22-0811, discussion and possible action to approve change order 1, contract B, Louis Trenching Service, increase in the amount of $9,668 in the city of East Dubuque.
In this case, we want to do some additional asphalt pavement patch and some additional curb and gutter. Mark, do you have any more detail on that for us?
It's just that patch you see right there by St. Mary's, with the condition of the road. We had to go a little bit further, and actually get a good saw joint.
We'd recommend your approval.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Fleur,
Aye.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 12, 22-0812, discussion and possible action to approve proposal for professional service for Oxford reconstruction 2023 project in the city of East Dubuque.
This is one I think Mike was asking about before. I'd gladly get more information from Jill Peppin if you'd like to delay awarding this, but this is the Oxford reconstruction that we talked about. It's a complete reconstruction. There's everything in the kitchen sink on that street that we have to fix. So however you guys would want us to do it, if you'd like to get more information, if you'd be more comfortable before we'd authorize this contract. Mike, do you have some feelings?
I just think it's fine. If it is what it is, if that's still all EPA. You know. When they need,
Okay.
if the street absolutely needs it, I mean,
It's patched to death.
it's in 30 years, 35 years I've lived here, there's never done anything on it. Other than patch water main.
I think the patches on the water main are holding the street up at this point. So. We would recommend your approval if that's okay, so we can keep proceeding. Yeah. A motion.
I'll second.
Got to get her done.
Hoffman,
Aye.
Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye. Item number 13, 22-0813, discussion and possible action to approve an amendment to can't quite see it. What is it?
Ordinance regulating
Ordinance
water service.
regulation, water service in the city of East Dubuque.
We prepared this for you. We've had informally, we've charged for bulk water in the past. But when we started looking through ordinances, we didn't see that we'd ever created it by ordinance. So we wanted to put in our ordinances what we charge for bulk water. And then we checked around with some surrounding cities to make sure we were in the right ballpark. We sold quite a bit of bulk water this year. Which project was that on? Was that the Highway 20 project? So we just, we went through and we didn't really see anywhere in our ordinance where we'd actually formally created the rate. So usually what railroad buys bulk water from us?
Usually the railroad, sometimes street projects, they'll get some water from us, and then, some of the underground services, they'll get some water for us with their directional board.
So we wanted to formally adopt a rate structure so we'd have something in the future.
That pretty much standard fee, apparently, huh?
Yeah, well, it's a hookup fee of $75 and then a volume charge of $25 per 1,000 gallons. And we're not the highest, but it's fair.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Does this cover your guys' time for?
Yeah.
I make a motion to approve. Second.
The only, if I may.
Sure.
The only, thing, and this has happened in the past, I think it needs to be added to the ordinance. And I wish I would have thought of this when Melissa was doing it, but, you know, if we get called out on overtime, that they know that, they are going to be charged
Paying
for
more.
overtime.
Do we do an after hours charge or how should we do that? If you wanted to approve it tonight, you could,
With the amendment.
with amendment that there'd be an after hours charge included, and then we'd get it rewritten before it gets signed. I think that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, I'd motion if we did it that, yeah.
Second it.
Yeah,
It won't be signed until we make that change to it.
Okay.
Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
aye.
Dagenhart,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
and Hoffman.
Item number 14, 22-0814, discussion and possible action to amend council rule of procedure and speakers from the floor policy in the city of East Dubuque.
We put this into your packet. We're not really expecting you to take action this evening, but with all the new council members we have, first of all, we didn't know if everybody's had a chance to read through our rules of procedure. And then I think we're open to any suggestions as you look through it. I don't know if everybody had a chance to read through it. But if there's any suggestions on, hey, I'd like this addressed, I'd like this changed, wide open to whatever you'd like. I think Alyssa threw in maybe a couple other towns, how they address some things. City of Galenas was in there. You'll see ours is, I think somewhere along the way, we must have copied the cities of Galena because ours looks real similar to theirs. But I guess I'd leave it open to you guys to make suggestions.
I noticed ours does not have a table of contents. Maybe we want to add that.
You bet.
Makes it a little more easily searched.
Okay. The speakers from the floor area, we were gonna work on that. Any other areas that you'd like to see some attention given to or suggestions?
Now's the time.
We would bring it back at a future meeting for final
Are
approval.
you adding that in there, Loris, about the public speaking or the?
Yes, we saw that ours and Galena's really doesn't address that very well. And I think she threw Dubuque's in there as far as they had a nice way to address the city council. I think what we've tried to control in the past the best we can is the section on personal and slanderous remarks. Any person making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or who shall become boisterous while addressing the city council may be requested to leave the meeting and by the presiding officer, barred from further audience before the city council. So I think the idea is it's a business meeting. You guys are trying to conduct the city's business, so it's not supposed to be a free-for-all. So that's why we thought we should maybe address that a little better for you guys. Any other suggestions?
They go merge that in there somehow.
That looked like, I like their wording. I'm sure they probably looked at it 40,000 times before they put that together, so. What you'll find is a lot of cities plagiarize other cities. If somebody's already, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If another city's handled it well, you just take their stuff. If there's nothing else, we will work on getting that prepared for the next meeting.
Okay.
Yes, you would just not take action on it tonight. We'd have a motion to table that. If anybody would make that.
So move.
Second.
Belkin,
Aye.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur,
Aye.
Hoffman, Walsh,
Aye.
Dagenhart.
Aye.
That's all we have.
Motion
The
to adjourn.
speakers from the floor.
Yep.
Mike stood up. I didn't ask anybody else if they speak.
Oh,
Anybody else want to speak? Okay, we'll move on. Last thing is 15-0815 adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Thank you for coming.
Oh,
you got a roll call first.
Bergmeyer,
Aye.
Fleur.
Aye.
Hoffman, Walsh,
Aye.
Belkin,
Aye.
Mayor Dagenhart.
Aye.
Thanks, everybody. Luke, will you hit the camera?
Brian is the last.
Hey.
Mayor's got something for you.
Oh, yeah.